So have you guys ever realized that a lot of the best fragrances that ever were released, at least in the last like 20 years, have been discontinued? Have you ever wondered why that is? Well, today I wanted to go through 5 fragrances that were discontinued over the last like 10 to 15 years, and the ones that I want back the most, and then talk about why the discontinuations are happening. Because honestly, the ones that I'm about to talk about, I can't believe they were ever discontinued. But yeah, we're going to be talking about 5 discontinued fragrances I wanted to have back. So without further ado, let's get it. What's good, my great smelling dudes? Thank you guys so much for joining me, and happy November to everybody. Before we get into the video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff if you want my videos sooner. Random comment, but this is the last day I'm going to have these damn glasses. My other pair that were the same as these snapped in half when I just took them off my face. And they were 5 years old. These are 10 years old, and they're all scratched up, so I can barely even see you guys. But I can't wait because there's going to be anti-glare, all that. You guys can see. These glasses are super bad. But with that said, back into what we're doing with the video today. Have you ever wondered why discontinued fragrances are discontinued? The ones that you're like, I can't believe they discontinued that. Well, the thing is that us in FragCom, usually designer, that's why you don't see many designer brands reaching out to reviewers and paying them to do reviews, because to them, we are like 0.001% of the total gross sales of fragrances in the world. They don't care about FragCom, and most of the fragrances I'm about to talk about, even though they are super hyped on FragCom, and they do deserve that, most of them are situational. They are seasonal, or they are very high quality niche style fragrances that not the average consumer would like to buy. But mostly it's because of the situational seasonal thing. With that said, the normal average Joe, the other 99.9% of people who are buying fragrances, they usually like blues or mass appealing fragrances that they can wear all year round. Like Boss Bottled, it's one of the best selling fragrances of all time. And it's just a sweet but fresh fragrance that is kind of cheaper to most people in FragCom, but I still love it. And there's a reason, because it's super mass appealing. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about 5 fragrances that I think that I wish it could be brought back. I'm not going to go too far back, like to the Armani Manias, Nautica Competition Blue. I wish that I could, but I'm not going to. I mean, Candies, all of that stuff. I wish they could bring all that back. We're going to stick within the last like 10 years or so. But with that said, we're going to start out with this one. This is becoming one of my favorite fragrances in my collection. This one I would easily want them to bring back because it only got discontinued like 5 months ago. You can still find it for like 130, 140 bucks. Is it worth it at that point in time? I think so, yeah. But it's a reach. But I mean, you think most designer fragrances like Burberry's now are 140, so it's still a good price. This is Issey Miyake's Leau Dissey Pour Homme Noir Ambre. So this fragrance is a tale of two fragrances. When you first spray it on, you almost get this really deep, dark, semi-animalic woodiness mixed together with a little bit of spice. And when I say animalic, it's not terrible. I hate saying that, but it is this like kind of like sweet saffron, but dark and spicy and woody. And then you have a little bit of a leathery undertone. It's very mature. It's not as sweet as what you do when you get into the dry down. But as you get to the dry down of this fragrance, it really turns into this really beautiful vanilla, leather, and spice. You get some woods obviously floating through the whole fragrance, but the vanilla really comes forward after about 5 or 6 minutes. It's one of the quickest transitions to the dry down I've seen of any of these types of fragrances. And this is a super high quality fragrance that it could be misconstrued as a niche fragrance any day. It's super high quality. Issey Miyake knocked it out of the park with this one. But overall, this fragrance is a signature amber fragrance. I mean, I say that the opening is more spices, woods, stuff like that. As you get to the dry down, the vanilla and all that becomes more prominent with the leather and spices. But the entire base of the fragrance, underneath it, over top of it, everywhere, is a nice signature ambery scent. It is dark, deep, resinous, mature, but also has a sweetness, a little bit of that vanilla. It almost has a vanilla like Virtus Vanilla Oud. but it's a lot spicier, deeper, darker. Leau Dissey Pour Homme Noir Ambre is no joke. Fantastic. Lasts about 10 hours. Really, really good fragrance. It has a projection that is going to be above average for the first 2 to 3 hours, but then it softens and becomes more of a personal bubble for about 3, and then a skin scent for the final 4. So I wouldn't say that it's going to be on your skin too heavily for the 10 hours. But with that said, it's still a really good performer. And obviously, you're going to be wearing long sleeve clothes most of the time when you're wearing this because it is a fall and winter scent. Even though I say Signature Amber, you can wear it at night in spring and summer depending on where you live. That is one I want them to bring back. I'm so disappointed that they got rid of it. But the thing is that it is semi-situational. Even though it is Signature Amber, it depends on the style. And the average Joe probably won't like that type of fragrance because, again, dark, spicy. That's not the type of fragrance that most people go to Macy's to buy. You know what I mean? But going into the second one. This one is one that I have 2 bottles in my collection. I got sent one by Steve a long time ago, so thank you to him. And then I have another one that I am actually trading right now with one of my subscribers, and that is this one right here. This is Mugler's Amen Pure Havane. They basically took away the entire line. And the reason for that is because they were trying to go into the stupid Alien Man line, which doesn't make any sense. But anyway, Angel Men Pure Havane. This was kind of like the leader of the line. They still have the Cappuccino one, the Ultimate. That's still out there. It's still really good, about $50. They still have the original. That one's a little bit more situational and harder to get around, but still smells good. This one is kind of in that realm of the Xerjoff Naxos meets Insurrection 2 Wild. You do not need to buy it for $170 on eBay. While it is a really good fragrance, this one is one that, like the subscriber that's trading me, it's okay if you're trading it, but I wouldn't go and spend that crazy amount of money on it when you can just buy Naxos for that same price or something like that. But with that said, it smells really, really good. It's a little bit more resinous than what Naxos is and a little bit less fresh. But this one is going to be that amber honey tobacco mixture. It has the patchouli that all of them have in it, but it's going to be a lot more honey. It's going to be sweet, rich, dark, and deep. But also it has that tobacco underneath it. It's a honey ambery scent with tobacco lingering underneath. You can't really say this is a really strong tobacco fragrance. It's more of a strong and rich honey fragrance with that ambery tone underneath it, some of the patchouli and spice. It's almost like a cinnamony, nutmeg-like spice mixed together with that tobacco, which comes across as a little bit more of a moist tobacco. Very nice, really nice fragrance. This is one that I'll always have something in my collection like it. I don't know if I'll always have it because, again, after I trade this away, I'm only going to have the one bottle. But with that said, that is Amen Pure Havane. Really nice fragrance, and I wish that they could bring that back so that people wouldn't have to worry about spending the crazy amounts of money that they're looking for. But again, you could always just go with Naxos, which is in the same vein, and we'll do the same thing. With that said, we're getting into the third one. That is also for the fall and winter, and it's also, as far as the performance, it's getting really cold outside and my allergies are acting up, but it's getting perfect time for this. Fall, winter, warm, resinous, all that good stuff. Speaking of warm, resinous, spice, cinnamon, this is going to be 1 Million Prive by Paco Rabanne. It's almost like a cinnamon cider meets like a dark resin. It's kind of like those two mixed together. It's a really heavy, resinous, rich cinnamon mixed together with like these ambers and resins that mix together with that. It almost brings off an appley accord. That's why I always say it's like an apple cider. But this is more of like a woody, rich, cinnamon, sweet fragrance that smells like fall in a bottle. I wish they could bring this back. I honestly wasn't even in the fragrance community whenever they discontinued this. So I only have a small bottle. I wish I had a bigger one. And they're really hard to come across because it is a really good fragrance. But again, you can only wear it for like 2 months and then it's kind of like kaput. Can't really wear it after that. I mean, you can wear it in the winter if you wanted to, but at that point in time, I'm already getting into my heavy vanilla scent, stuff like that. But this is really good. If you like cinnamon, it reminds me of going up and like skiing at my cabin at Seven Springs. Just really, really cool. But that one is going to be another. That's going to be about 7 hours. with a heavy projection for the first 2 hours, and then it kind of tones down, but never really fully goes away until about hour 6 is when it becomes a skin scent. Obviously, all these you wear on clothes, you'll get a day or so. So going into the fourth one, this one is just going to be the better version of the one I was just talking about earlier, which is Boss Bottled. This one I really truly don't understand why they discontinued it. This is Hugo Boss Bottled Eau de Parfum Intense. Boss Bottled Eau de Parfum Intense is literally just a much better, warmer version of the original. Yes, it's a little bit more situational as far as seasonal, I mean, because you can wear this more in the fall and winter, while Boss Bottled is more all year round. I think it was more of an advertising and marketing issue than anything, because Boss Bottled Eau de Parfum Intense literally just takes that apple pie accord and it brings it forward. Sandalwood, it makes it a little bit richer, warmer, deeper, and it really is closer to an apple pie than the original, which a lot of people always call it an apple pie. This is one of my favorite fragrances in my collection. I'm gonna probably have to buy another bottle on eBay, unfortunately, because eBay prices suck. But Hugo Boss Bottled Eau de Parfum Intense, it's one of the only fragrances in the Boss Bottled line until these like Elixir and Parfum that actually pushed out like the Elixir and Parfum, where you get about 8 hours from the fragrance. It's warmer, it's richer, it's a longer lasting version of the original, and then they just got rid of it. So again, marketing, advertising, but apple pie, sandalwood, it's creamy, it's beautiful scent. The only thing they got rid of, I believe, is the plum in this, which provided that kind of fruity freshness. But with that said, it's just warmer, richer apple, cinnamon, sandalwood. That's the three notes that really it rides itself around. And now it just has a little bit more of a warmer, spicier, deeper tone. That is Boss Bottled Eau de Parfum Intense. Leaning into the last one, this is going to be more of a leather heavy scent and one that I find more situational. And the average Joe out of all 5 of these, this is going to be the most situational as far as the average Joe not liking it. This is going to be the one they like the least, most likely, but I like it a lot. It is Carolina Herrera's CH Men Prive. So CH Men Prive, it is a warm, spicy, boozy leather scent that has a bit of woods underneath it, but for the most part, it is almost like a boozy leather. I really like this scent. But the thing is it is very situational. It is darker, it's deeper, it's a very masculine and mature. So that this is going to be like a 25 to 55 range. You wouldn't want to wear it when you're younger, and even 25 is probably pushing it. You have to be somebody who likes the darker, richer leather scents that has the just boozy and leathery, because it is a leather heavy scent, and it's really easy to explain this, but at the same time there is a lot going on with it. As you get further into the fragrance, you get a little bit of sweetness and spice that comes in that you didn't have in the beginning, but the leather carries through the whole fragrance. You get some woods that creep in. It gets a little bit creamy as you get further in it, and the booze starts to go down, but for the most part it is super spicy, super dark, and then it has a creaminess to it with that leather being front and center. Very nice fragrance. CH Men Prive, also going to be in the same realm as pretty much all of these, around 8 hours or so. Not super heavy projector, but it's going to be above average. Pretty much all of these are in the same range. Above average, around 8 hours, better on clothing, obviously, fall and winter. Those are my type of scents. I like the fall and winter scents, so obviously that's going to be the 5 I want to bring back. So I should have just made the videos, top 5 fragrances that I would like to bring back that are discontinued. And if any of those would work. I could also add Gucci Envy onto the list because I really like that, but I honestly forget what it smells like now. Plum Japonais by Tom Ford, but that's more niche. That would pretty much be the bulk of what I'm thinking right now. But yeah, anyway, let me know some of the fragrances over the last 10 years or so that you would want to bring back that are discontinued. I also could have done half of the Mugler line, but those are my 5. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to another video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.